going to talk you through some nice ideas for preparing pupils for the speaking exam. You can pause at any time and discuss them or try them out, or see if you can swap it into a different language if it would still work, or whether it would work for your pupils or not. I had a 4-week period where instead of having my form on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I had a little French intervention group, Year 11s getting ready for GCSE, and these are some of the things that we did in those 4 weeks. Mondays they were with their tutor, Fridays with their tutor, but 3 days every week, 20-minute lesson instead of tutor time. So the first week we did My Grandma Went Shopping, which turned into If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, which we'll look at. The second week we had 3 sessions working with dice. The fourth session was Dance Mums, the third one, and the fourth one was working on having a game plan for the speaking exam. This was French, but a lot of the examples I'm going to show you are for Spanish because I didn't have time to take any pictures of anything we did with the French groups. This is just stuff that I've done with my normal Spanish groups. Here we go. So my granny went to market and she bought. So that's the idea of something that gets in a chain, and you remember the first person says something and the second person says something else and the third person adds something else, and you have to be able to tell the whole story. So again, this is in Spanish, but in the sessions I had it was actually in French, but it doesn't matter. When they came in on the board were the verbs to go to the aquarium, to see the fish, to touch a starfish, to drop your mobile, to cry. So you can see what's going to happen. It's in an aquarium, someone was looking at the fishes, someone was touching a starfish, someone tried to take a photo and dropped their phone, and it all ended sadly and they cried. And then on the pupils' desks, when they came in, they had to sit in certain places, and they had written on their table by me in board pen. The first person had this, I like or I love. The second person, because I can. The third person, and kids love having things written on the desk. Third person, especially if, because if not, I prefer. My brother likes. So for a start, you've got opinion, explaining why, looking at the circumstances. Then a conflict of opinion, my brother likes. Then moving into the past, what happened, what someone wanted to do, I wanted or he wanted. Bit of speech, he said, I said, or the other way around. What they decided to do, what was happening, and what happened. And then, as we said, it all goes wrong. They drop the phone, what you would have preferred to do. So I do this in my classes as well. So these become very much associated. Each of my year 10 in my Spanish group has got one of these. And so have my year 11 as well. I've got slightly different numbers, so I have to remember which group I'm teaching. But I don't write them on their table anymore. So here we go. It goes something like, me gusta ir al acuario porque puedo, and then the next person says, porque puedo ver los peces, and the next person, sobre todo si hace sol, and the next person, porque si llueve, and then the next person, prefiero ir a la playa. So we're building up the story, and the first time you're talking them through it, explaining how it works, what the options might be, what is the point of it. Because by the second lesson, you want them to go back over it and remember, by looking round the classroom, what did the first person say? Oh, they always have an opinion. I like to go to the aquarium. Or what's the second person? Well, we always have a reason, because I can see the fish. And what comes next? And you go around the class looking physically at the students in the class, and they've got the next step attached to them. And you can do it in that order. Later on, you can mix the order up a bit. To be honest, even in the exam room, don't tell anyone this, but they could look around at the people in that exam hall, or not look around because you're not meant to, but in their heads, and think, what can I write next? What would this person say? What do they always contribute? My brother I like to see the fish, but my brother likes to touch a starfish. Last year when we were in Spain, we went to an aquarium. I wanted to see the fish. My brother said, I want to touch a starfish. I said, okay, I'll take some photos. So we decided to go and look at the starfish. He was touching, this is the imperfect, one of the starfish. I was taking photos when dejé caer mi móvil. I dropped my camera. Lloré, using the verbs here. I cried. And the last person in the group, hubiera preferido ir a la playa. I would have preferred to have gone to the beach. Okay? So that was the first day. We went 20 minutes, went through a little story, built it up like that. Next day, different verbs. Same things on each pupil's desk. Like I say, with my year 11, my year 10, they're not written on the desk anymore. They know, and everyone knows everyone else's one that they would have said. So again, you can see, go to a theme park, go on a, what's it called, Russian mountain, on a roller coaster, eat too much ice cream and drink fizzy pop, and yeah, that. So I mean, if you want to pause, you could go around your class now and see if you can make a story saying what someone likes, what they can do, especially if it rains. Oh no, especially if it's sunny, because if it rains, you go to the aquarium, as we previously said. Okay, so that was the first week. We managed 3 sessions, one introducing it, another one going back over, making sure we could remember it. Oh, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, that's a lovely book. If you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. If you give a mouse a glass of milk, he's going to want to look in the mirror to see if he's got a milk moustache. If you give a mouse the chance to look in the mirror, he's going to probably want to trim his moustache. Okay, so this is the same thing again, that if you say what you like, you're probably going to say why. If you say what you like and why, you're probably going to explain the circumstances. If you have one if sentence, if it's sunny, if I can go with my friends, you're going to have the opposite if it rains, if I have to go with my family. And what you prefer. If you've said what you like, you might also want to say what someone else likes. When you say where you went, you'll probably start by saying what you wanted to do. If you have what one person says, you'll also want to answer them. Then you'll probably say what happened, what was happening. Before you say what happened, say what was happening. And if it all goes wrong, say what you would have preferred. So the answer is already there before you even start. So that was good, and it was a bunch of students I don't normally teach. They'd already got all this French, they knew it, but the idea of putting it together like this, making quite such a good story out of it, was new to them, and they really enjoyed it, and I think they felt they'd done quite well. This is again from one of my Spanish lessons, so they can come back next time and write it up or make them do the whole story. You can pause and read that if you want. That's basically the story we just did. Okay, so the next week of 3 20-minute sessions, we work with dice. And this is one of my favourite activities, and it's more important than it looks for the speaking exam. So these are connectives, and because, especially if, for example, so and but conjunctions. So you start talking, j'aime aller à la plage, and when you've said a tiny chunk, you roll a dice. If you get a 2, you'd say parce que je peux nager dans la mer. Then you roll the dice, and you might get a 4. Par exemple, j'adore aller à la plage avec ma famille. And you've never finished, you roll the dice again. Get a 3, surtout si fait du soleil. Roll the dice, 5. Alors, le week-end, je voudrais y aller. Okay. Down the right-hand side, obviously to give more information, parce que to explain your reason, surtout si, like we saw before, to explore the circumstances. But look, par exemple for past, and I didn't do that just now, but my students know to use this as a trigger. If they have par exemple, they'll say par exemple, le week-end dernier, je suis allé à la plage avec ma famille. Or, if they've done the whole thing like we saw a minute ago with the mouse and the cookie, last weekend I was going to do my homework, but it was sunny, so my friend said, should we go to the beach? We decided to go to the beach. I should have stayed in and done my homework. But anyway, use these as triggers. I'll tell you why. Because in the speaking exam, as the examiner, I don't actually have to say to my students, please give me a recent example of what we have just been talking about in the past. I literally just say, par exemple, and they will automatically hop into the past and say last year, last weekend, on Tuesday, once upon a time, and they will give me something in the past. And the same with these as well. These other ones, once I've asked my first question, do you like your geography teacher? I will say, they will give me a short answer, and I'll say pourquoi, and they will go because we can talk with our friends, but okay. Or I can say alors, and they'll go alors je préfère la géographie et je n'aime pas les autres matières, and they're just primed once they've given, well, they're used to it from this dice game. Once they've started off, shake the dice and it's good. Oh, sorry, I mean to do that. Someone's decided I've been talking too long on this slide. They're also in a good order, aren't they? And reason, circumstances, maybe the past, maybe the future, and then to change subject to something else. So yeah, if you want to pause and think about that, we spent 3 sessions on that, but very powerful for the speaking exam, not to have to ask more questions the pupils may or may not understand to try and catch them out, but to just keep probing for more. Et, mais sinon, pourquoi, par exemple, in particular, par exemple. Okay, what's this? Oh yes, another week on Dance Mums. Dance Mums is a reality TV show with Miss Abby and the mainly girls, some boys, who dance, and their mums who bicker, to put it politely. But the point of them for my class that we had on these 3 intervention sessions in tutor time was, how on earth does Miss Abby's dance group descend upon a different American town every week with a new routine and sweep the board with all the medals and trophies? How do they have a new routine to new music that wins every week? We watched a little video, it's still on YouTube, just make sure that everyone knew what Dance Moms were, and then we said basically they might have new routines every week, but it's the same moves. It's the same moves. And what moves are they? They're the moves that impress the judges. And some of the dancers have their own move that's their speciality. So we're talking about this in the context of French. You have to have a different routine. You have to have the environment, my school, my town, my family, free time, holidays, jobs I would like to do, all these different routines. But you need to make them out of the same moves. Make them out the same moves so you can make them up as you go along, or you can very quickly put one together, you can practice it, you can make it really good, and make it out of the moves that impress the judges. And this is when we looked at the mark scheme. So for AQA, opinions with reasons, extending your answers, starting to narrate what was happening, what happened, what people said, what the weather was like, talking about the past, talking about the present, talking about the future. Oh, it's got narrate in there twice. Wonder what was meant to be there. Oh well. If these are the things that impress the judges, whatever the routine is, whatever the topic for the exam is, these same moves make up your new routine. And we liked that idea and we went with it, practiced, and I modelled some for them and they did some. So, okay, you can pause and talk about that idea. Don't get carried away talking about Dance Mums for too long, though. Okay. What's this? Oh, this is having a game plan. Sounds good, doesn't it? If you're going to go into a football match, you go in with a game plan. I never really understood this, certainly not for tennis. It's like, well, I'll play really badly for a bit, and when he's beating me, I'll start playing well. What's the point of it? Just play your best all the time. But anyway, apparently a game plan's really important. But you can see here, again, this is from a Spanish book, but this is what we did as well with the intervention sessions. This is the defensive half on the left. And in defence, you're going to play the ball out from the back. And you want to be confident on the ball. You're not going to take risks. You're going to keep the ball. You could keep passing it around all day long. So, and pass the ball with and, because, especially if, but, when, and so. So I like, what topic should we have? Going into Norwich. I like to go to Norwich because to pass the ball, I can go shopping with my friends. I don't like it if I have to go with my parents. But if I go with my parents, I can go in the car, whereas if I go with my friends, I have to go on the bus. I go to Norwich many weekends. I hate to have to stay in Dereham. Okay, and what we're doing here, we can do this all day long. That was going to Norwich, but any topic we can pass the ball around. I like, I can, I want, I have to, I'm going to, I prefer, I don't like. They're not going to get the ball off you. They're not going to throw you. And then we've got the attacking half. The attacking half, it says, attack, take risks, show off, score goals. And again, this comes from the mark scheme. It says mistakes in more complex language. So just try some stuff. So this is, I decided to, putting some speech in, I said, he said, she said, we went, some stuff in the past tense, what you would have preferred. You can put a few more things in here as well. To my mother it isn't pleasing. Subjunctive for my mum doesn't want me. My mum doesn't want me. What a terrible thing English is. My mum doesn't want that Okay, and then, I mean, this is a drill that you do in football training, is you do passing around, passing around, passing around, passing around. I like, I can, I have, I want to, I'm going to. And then the coach will blow the whistle. And at that point, whoever's on the ball can attack into the attacking half. So our whistle is someone in the group can shout out, por ejemplo, and we already know por ejemplo means jumping into the past. So I like to go to the Norwich, especially if I can go with my friends. Sometimes I have to go with my family, but I prefer to go with my friends because I can't buy things in the shop. Then someone, por ejemplo, okay, first of all, to be onside, if you know the onside rule, you have to say when this happened. Por ejemplo, at the weekend, I was going to do my homework, but it was a nice day, so my friend said, do you want to go to Norwich? Oh, I haven't talked about the 1-2, just like we had with the if this, but if that, the 1-2 in the attacking half. My friend said, I said, any of these things. You don't need to do all of them. This is where you do your Maradona turn and your Ronaldo chop and your Ardiles flick. Okay, I went to Norwich. I would have liked to go shopping, but we went to McDonald's. So it just gets this idea to the pupils of how to attack the exam. Lots of this, opinions and reasons and discussing, and a few flashes of brilliance where you stick the ball in the back of the net. Okay, and that was three days of activities for 4 weeks that really helped focus them. Here you go. So this is what it looks like. I love to go to Norwich on the bus with my friends at the weekend because we can eat at McDonald's. If I go with my family, my mum doesn't like to eat fast food, so we have to buy a sandwich in Marks and Spencer's. I prefer to go with my friends, although I have to pay with my own money. Last Saturday, now into the past, last Saturday I wanted to go to Norwich, but my dad said, if you go to Norwich, you can't go to McDonald's because the food isn't healthy. He said, now here's your 1-2, I said, I've only got money for the bus, so we went to Norwich. I didn't want to tell my friends that I couldn't eat at McDonald's, so we went to McDonald's. I was going to order a salad, but when I saw the hamburgers on the screen thing, I decided to order 2. I ate too much. What's happened? It's all gone wrong. I would have preferred to eat a healthy sandwich. There you go. That's how to take the language pupils have already got and really focus them in on the speaking exam. If you like those ideas, you can find some more and some resources on these places. Okay, good. Well, I hope you liked it. It was fun.